Welcome to Left on Wed.
Bite-sized tips for people getting hitched. Georgia Fletcher.
Adam Sini.
In the same room.
How did we get here?
In this part of town.
Let me paint a picture for you. Georgia and Adam are sitting in a room.
And?
Oh, did you want more?
Well, you said you were painting a picture.
Okay.
All we were doing was being in a room. You didn't even have a paintbrush.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of all I've got. Georgia is wearing orange nail polish, which is on brand. She's wearing pearl earrings. She has her hair out, tucked behind the ears. Lovely teeth. Did you have braces?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
We've talked about this.
Oh, yeah, we're a teeth podcast. How many teeth-related podcasts are out there?
Not many. There's definitely a niche market.
Do
if
you
you are
know
a dental
that?
hygienist looking
Yeah, we want to
start-
interview you on the podcast. No, we don't?
No.
She's shaking her head at me.
Although that would be really handy to know if people are looking for teeth whitening.
Yes, true. People do that for for their weddings.
Yes.
And we talk about weddings
we do.
For-
Sometimes.
for a living.
Yes. Today we're talking about so many things.
This one is very sticky. I'm very
Awkward.
exciting. What's the topic? You tell them.
So usually if I paint a picture, may I?
Yeah, hopefully it's better than mine. Here's my paintbrush.
All we got to was getting in a room and talk about what we're wearing. So you went there again.
I'm not wearing anything.
This time,
Yes.
we've got a paintbrush.
Oh my God.
We've got a canvas.
So
it's
exciting.
blank.
Okay.
We're writing our guest list.
Yes.
We've got all these names on there. All point in time. We love them. We love them. A few months down the track, we no longer love them so much. And we need to think about cutting them out. They've caused some capital D drama.
I think that everyone already knew by clicking on this episode what the topic was because it's the name of the episode, but it's uninviting guests.
We are very succinct when it comes to topic names on the podcast.
We tell you what it is before you listen to it.
Yes, and you should always go look in the show notes just in case Adam's painted the wrong picture.
That's right. Go to the show notes. There's lots of stuff in there. Hey, uninviting guests. This one is sticky and prickly and wiggly, you know? It's
It
a little bit
hurts.
weirdy, yeah.
hurts.
But these questions come up quite often to Georgia and I of how do I uninvite someone, because sometimes the situations arise where you might need to tell someone that they're no longer going to be coming to your wedding. So
saw
we're
a
going to go through that.
Very viral TikTok video recently
Yeah.
of a girl that went off her rocker after a hen's party, and the bride had gotten very, very upset with her for not behaving or doing the right thing that the bride had expected her to do while at the hen's party, and she uninvited her to the wedding.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really interesting. She
Yeah.
really took us on a whole journey. I
Yeah.
got wrapped up in the drama.
Well, I'm curious, like, what have you seen and what do you think is like, what are reasons why people do start going down the route of uninviting? What have you heard and seen?
I haven't seen a lot.
Yeah.
But I do find the longer the
happens.
engagement,
Yep.
the earlier you propose to your wedding party, the more likely, the higher the chance that those issues and hard conversations are going to pop up,
Yep.
because life changes and your wedding is a day and there are other things that are happening around that day, particularly for other people that it's not their wedding. Their life is still happening.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the easiest situation in this is ones that I've seen a few times, especially around COVID era, is having to cut down the guest list for particular reasons.
It was easy to blame COVID back then,
so
wasn't it?
easy. But I still think that's one that you can still blame it on is
The venue.
the venue, money. We love venues.
We would never blame Longreef.
We'd
That's
never
where we
blame-
are today.
The Longreef Golf Club we would never blame.
But other venues, they may have a certain capacity.
Yep.
So you've got your guest list and you've got a capacity on the amount of people that you can have. You're going to come across people that are going to, that word that we use a lot, assume they're invited,
Yeah.
and you have to tackle those hard conversations about why they're not invited.
We hear this a lot. It's like people, the extended family or mum said, auntie so-and-so is so excited for the wedding. And it's like, oh, mum, she's actually not invited to the wedding. So this is actually uninviting someone. This is the step before, which is setting expectations with those people of they're actually not invited in the first place, right?
Who was that auntie with the teeth again?
Oh, auntie teeth lady. Oh my God, she scares me. Oh, we're back on teeth. Favorite tooth. 3, 2, 1, go. Canine. It's the right answer to that.
Are you trying to make us woof and meow in every
Yes, I am
episode?
trying so hard.
Shout out to Wedding Pause.
Okay, so that's the step before that, and cutting down your guest list might be one that you do a budget thing as well. Maybe you start exploring, we're having a wedding of 100 people, and then as you get down the road, we can't afford this, we're going to cut it down to 50, and you have to uninvite people for that reason. Tell them straight up why. We don't have enough money, we are downsizing our wedding, and we apologize, you are no longer invited to the wedding. It has to be really frank and clear.
Yes, and I also think that if they are on your side, so if they are your family, it's up to you to tackle that hard conversation.
Yes.
Don't send your lovely fiance out to battle for
Yep.
you. You either do it together or you put your brave pants on
Yep.
and you go and you let them know. You
What-
tell them.
What's your brave pants? What do they look like? Mine are Hammer pants. Remember MC Hammer?
Oh, yeah.
That's what my brave pants look like.
I can't do any music trivia anymore.
No,
I've been
we're
banned from
banning
singing.
you from that. Yeah, we've banned Georgia from singing during the
Ever
podcast,
since
if you've
Enrique
noticed.
and Ricky Martin wrote to us and said, please don't ever mix up my hot, hot, hot song.
They had a joint letter. It was a joint statement they put out
They
on
did.
this podcast.
They did. They're no longer invited to my wedding.
We're that popular.
We've already got our guest list. We've got a whole episode on that. We
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
We do. But we need to uninvite some people.
Let's say that, okay, we've gone through cutting lots of people for budget reasons or venue reasons. What about, like you sort of mentioned before, falling out with someone?
Yes.
Whoa.
Holy dooly.
What do we do there?
So this is a really hard one because, again, it comes down to who has the close relationship with that person. Where are they from? What's their contact? Let's not get their contact yet. Let's get their context in how they're related to you and your partner.
Yeah.
Then we need to really identify the problem and whether that problem is going to escalate and be worse on the wedding day. I think it comes down to how they're going to make you feel, what they've done. Is it something that you can get over? It's a really tricky one because it really will depend on the situation that's caused that issue
Yeah.
and for you to get to the point where you really don't want them at your wedding.
Yeah. And I don't think you should feel guilty for that as well. Remember, it's your wedding day and you are having the most important people in the room because you want them there and you don't want any drama. So if you feel like it's necessary to uninvite someone for those reasons, then maybe it is. And it's going to be difficult then, but maybe it's necessary. So I think a lot of people would back and forth with themselves on that decision. But if you think it's right, then go for it. Get rid of them. Just cut off the dead weight. Get rid of dead meat.
You might also have, with your partner, you've made a backup guest list too for people to be able to slot in replacement of that person if you are concerned about numbers, if you have a minimum spend at your venue. So even the opposite of venue capacity, maybe your venue has a minimum spend and you might not just be cutting out one person, it might have a ripple effect. Like if we can't bring our children, then we're not coming.
Yeah.
So they might be uninviting themselves. So if we've already blamed the venue, we've already blamed catering,
Yeah, let's blame outside
blamed
sources.
our budget,
Great.
but then something awful has happened.
Yep.
Something that's really upset you and you are ready to have a very difficult conversation.
Yep.
We've done a little bit of research and we've mentioned them a few times because we love and adore them so much. And that's
Yes.
Mel and Amy from Wedshed.
Yeah.
Amy and Mel are brilliant writers and they often write for the wonderful Mamma Mia.
Yep.
It's a great article that they have written all about how to uninvite guests.
Yes, and I've turned it into a little acronym for
We
you.
have to make it
ACRE.
easy to remember.
ACRE, right?
Save this for later. Get your
So-
pen and paper.
Here's 4 points. You ready,
Thank you,
Georgia?
Mel and Amy from Wedshed.
Are you ready?
I am.
Are you ready for this jelly? 1A. Acknowledge the fact that you originally invited them. Love that. Yes, it is true you were invited to this wedding, right? C is explain what's changed. It could be the size of your wedding, they said, or the financial pressure you're experiencing. That's what we've mentioned. Or it might be that while you value their friendship, you recognize that life's busy and it's taking you both in different directions right now. I love that wording, taking you both in different directions. It doesn't have to be a harsh conversation, you know? You can be really soft in your approach with how you're going about it because that person will probably be, you know, they might be hurt by it. So they might not be expecting it. They probably will be expecting it as well if it's come to this stage. The R in ACRE, ACR, make it clear that they are no longer invited to your wedding. Why is that R, Georgia?
For the reason.
The reason.
Because there's an example.
For this reason, sadly, we will no longer be able to share our day with you. So that's following on from what's changed. We'll no longer be able to share our day with you. And it's really clear, I think, which is really important. If you've been around the bush and it's sort of like, oh, yeah, you know, if you can't come, that's fine. No, you have to be clear. If you're uninviting someone, you have to say straight up. And then are you ready for E?
I am.
End it with something light that indicates what you want next. And they've put an example. We hope you understand and we hope to catch up with you soon.
We call that the 100-acre wedding.
Yeah, it's
To uninvite someone.
and
Acre.
a little compliment sandwich, which we've talked about before, right?
Thank you, Mel and Amy. You are
We do
amazing.
love you, Wedshed. So, yeah, a little sandwich, right? They were really light in their approach. And it looks like maybe they're suggesting you could write it in an email or a text. Do you reckon that's okay?
It really depends because I still think that can leave a little bit of ambiguity.
Yeah.
So a phone call would definitely be better. I know that sounds really confrontational and that would absolutely scare the bejesus out of me. I don't like those difficult
Neither.
conversations. But I think if you are in the space with that person, either on the phone, they won't misunderstand your tone, they won't hang up.
And you
They
can
could.
Well, they could, but you could be empathetic with them. You can have that open conversation. You know, you can really listen to what they're saying, and the person back to you. But look, if you got into that stage and you're having that phone call, them pleading to you would be a little bit weird. I don't think it would be happening quite
Yes.
frankly. But if you feel like you can't have that phone call and you want to do it by email or text, then do it. Right?
How do you know if they have received it though? That's the one
They might
thing.
leave you on red.
I like
Left
what you did there.
on red. Oh, is that why we named the podcast this?
Yes.
Oh my
For those of you
God.
playing at home, if you weren't sure where we got that name from, Adam came up with it. I can't take the credit for that.
2024 bingo card mentioning left on red in left on wed. Did you have that on your 2024 bingo card?
No, but I don't even think we've said it on the podcast.
Oh my God, this is so meta right now.
But we don't want anyone to be left on red when they're uninviting people.
No.
So have those difficult conversations, decide on the right timing, the right setting, the right person to have that conversation, plan for it, try not to overthink it, and don't be left on red.
And if you think there's going to be drama, there might be. But if you think that there's going to be more drama by them coming on your wedding day, then it's not worth it. A lot of what I've heard is people is like maybe somebody's partner isn't invited, but their friend is.
Yeah,
That's a difficult conversation as well to have. But maybe you don't get along with the partner. Maybe your partner doesn't get along with this person. You know that's going to create beef. So you might have to say to your friend, we really want you to come to the day, but please, so-and-so, Frank, isn't invited. And you have to be so clear like that.
You have to be frank.
You have to be frank with Frank because Frank is not Frank. Frank is Frank. You know what I'm saying?
And he drank.
Yes.
And he stank.
And then he turned into a bit of a crank.
So we
So we needed to be frank with Frank
and uninvite him.
and say, hey, Frank, get pranked, you little Frank.
Straight to the bank.
Straight to the bank with Frank. Hey, to the bank with Frank. If you were to rob a bank, what would be your method?
I don't want to.
I'd go for cybercrime.
Okay. We need to be really careful how we use our platform.
I'd invite to so many weddings if I was a bank robber, but I wouldn't need it because I would be rich.
Okay. If you need a wishing well, please let me know. I have plenty.
Oh, for all the dollars, right? I'm gonna launder them through other people's weddings.
And then bring it and put it in their wishing well because you're a generous guy.
Georgia, do you have any
Yes.
lasting little notes or anything you want to say about uninviting guests? What's your last, just one piece of wisdom to throw out there into the ether? Wha!
If in doubt, check it out.
Just trying to rhyme. What?
If you are in doubt
Yeah.
that person is going to cause you
okay.
stress and anxiety, you need to check out that feeling now. Acknowledge it, validate it. You need to just bite the bullet and
Cut
get
off the
rid
dead
of it.
meat
You need
and
to.
just blame someone else, quite frankly. Hey, if you don't want to be around this person, just get rid of them. Get lost. Get lost.
It's your wedding day.
Do what you want. Do what you want. Get rid of dead meat.
We'll leave it there.
No.
No?
Let's just talk about our feelings for a little bit.
Hey, thanks for listening.
We are so happy that you listened. I'm over the moon. In fact, if you want a little bit more, follow us on the socials. Where are we?
You can find us on YouTube.
Oh,
You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Left on Wed Podcast.
And if you want to inquire with our services for celebrant MC and coordination, you can find Georgia at Georgia Fletcher Celebrant.
And you can find Adam at Married by Adam.
Hey, if you have any ideas, questions, topics for episodes, please slide into our DMs. You can send us an email as well, which is
leftonwedpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you're loving the podcast, please tell your friends, tell people who are getting hitched. We need you to spread the word like wildfire. Get it out there.
We really want to say a big thank you to Long Reef Golf Club as well for letting us record the podcast here at their incredible wedding venue. So inquire with them today if you're looking for the perfect wedding venue for your private event or your wedding.
See you there soon, Georgia.
See you there.